The city awakens, and with the first traffic light that shifts, something in the world is no longer the same. The clock does not forgive. Skyscrapers ignite like vertical embers. The night yields, and so does the skin. The murmur of the avenue speaks without words. Everything moves, everything dissolves, everything is reborn. This is a story of change, of letting go without surrendering, of walking through urgency and finding a secret rhythm. Today, you will hear how Buddhist wisdom turns the passing of time into a teacher. You will discover why resisting drains life, and how acceptance is not resignation, but learning to navigate a river that is never the same. Today, in the present, the story is summarized like this. A mother crosses the city, searching for a seed that does not exist. A monk raises a glass and says it is already broken. A Zen poet looks at the clock and says that you and time are the same. A community creates a perfect mandala only to release it to the wind, and amid the urban noise, someone breathes 3 times and becomes light. This happens now. Now everything changes, and so it begins. The enemy is not time. The enemy is friction with time, the fist that tightens when life asks it to open. To resist is to try to freeze a river with an order. The entire city is the metaphor. Shops change, the faces on the subway change, the neighborhood changes, the price of bread changes, the light that slices between buildings shifts like a yellow sword. The words we say change, the body that pronounces them changes, the streets on which our memories walk like ghosts in sneakers change. Even pain changes. Today it grips the throat. Tomorrow it is an echo in the chest. In the Buddhist tradition, this current has a name, impermanence. It is not a punishment, it is the texture of the world. Like the sea's murmur inside a shell, impermanence sounds within everything. Birth, aging, illness, death, blooming and wilting, finding and losing, growing and letting go. The teaching is simple and fierce. What is grasped hurts, what is released learns to dance. It is told that Ajahn Chah, a forest master, took a glass and said, "To me, this glass is already broken." It was not dark skepticism. It was lucid love. While he used it, its transparency seemed a miracle. When the glass finally shattered, there would be no tragedy. Its nature would be fulfilled. That phrase, already broken, is an antidote to resistance. It does not take away the glow of the now. It takes away the illusion that the glow could last forever just because we desire it. In neighborhoods where graffiti changes each week, the city practices a similar lesson. The mural that captivates today will be another tomorrow. Beauty is not secured with offense. It is honored with the gaze, with presence. In a world that expires, attention is an act of love. The clock is not an executioner if you hold it with respect. It is a drum that marks the rhythm of a dance. But change is not a concept, it is an impact. Sometimes it arrives without asking permission. The call at an improbable hour, a diagnosis that cracks the voice, that love that dims, a job that ends, a border that closes. The noise of the world turns into a blade. And that force that breaks your plans is easily confused with an enemy to defeat. Yet Buddhist wisdom proposes another tactic, cognitive judo. Do not fight the wave. Become someone who knows how to surf. In ancient times, a young woman named Kisa Gotami lost her son. Her grief was so immense that she carried the small body from door to door, asking for a remedy. They told her to go to the Buddha. Seeing her, he did not offer a doctrine. He offered a gesture. Bring me a mustard seed from a house where no one has died. Kisa Gotami walked the entire city. She knocked on doors, received seeds, and in each house she heard a story. A father gone, a sister, a grandfather, a neighbor. There was no house without mourning. That night, the young woman understood that her pain was vast as humanity. She was not cursed, she was alive. She returned with open hands. The impossible seed showed her the truth that words rarely reach, nothing remains, and precisely for that, love matters. That story does not validate resignation. It validates fraternity. The passing of time does not steal our ability to love. It sharpens it. It teaches us to say thank you earlier, I'm sorry better, I'm here more gently. When the city pushes you, take Kisagotami's gesture. Seek seeds that never arrive. You will discover that loss is not an exception in the world. It is the way it reminds us that we belong to one another. Buddhism speaks of a triptych: impermanence, dissatisfaction, and non-self. Resistance clings to a rigid identity, to a script where everything should obey our idea of what I am. But the I is also a river. The voice changes, the laughter changes, preferences shift, wounds transform, and thus changes the way we care. Accepting change does not erase history, it lets it breathe. Without that flexibility, each dawn would be an insult. With it, dawn is a chance to debut a new skin. Dogen, a Zen master, spoke of being time. He did not say that we have time, he said that we are time. A mountain is time, a cloud is time. This phrase, so strange and clear, turns the clock into a mirror. If we are time, we need not defeat it. We need to listen to its inner tone. In the arteries of the city, that lesson looks like this. A red light offers the miracle of a complete breath. The sound of a train becomes a mantra. The turning shadow on the facade is the feather with which the sun writes its daily letter. To begin to let go, tradition proposes small things. Not immediate heroism, but the cracks through which another light begins to enter. 3 breaths, only 3. When change strikes, do it without ceremony. Inhale and feel the body expand. Exhale and allow tension to slide off like a wet garment. Inhale and notice the weight in your feet. Exhale and open. 3 breaths do not stop the clock. They disable the trap that makes it an enemy. The diary of changes. At the end of the day, write 10 things that changed today. 10. They do not have to be big. The flower that was not there, the new crack in the sidewalk, the phrase that came out differently, the unexpected taste of coffee, the person you did not see in their usual corner, an emotion that visited like a cloud. Then read that list and rest in the evidence that life already moves with you. There is no need to push rivers. The ritual of the seasons, even in the city, because there are seasons on asphalt, just as in fields. The trees lining the avenues follow a secret calendar. The smell of rain on cement shifts. The birds you hear change. The midday shadows alter. Look at the sky with a peasant's curiosity. That silent act loosens the knot of it should be the same. The object that ages. Choose one and measure it with tenderness. A fruit ripening in your kitchen, a bouquet fading in a glass, a candle that burns down, a notebook that fills up. Each day, observe its transformation. Do not delay it, do not hide it, do not apologize. If it hurts, remember Ajahn Chah's glass. It was already broken, and that is why it was so beautiful while it lasted. The practice of the closet. Let go of a garment. Write it a brief letter of thanks. Thank it for its time with you. Donate it. That hollow in the closet is not loss. It is space. Space is also a teacher. The vow of the hour. Choose 1 hour of the week not to fight with anything. That hour becomes a portable monastery in the heart of the city. A phone rings, someone interrupts, a delivery is late, a glance misses. In that hour, the response is a smile that releases. The vow of the hour trains an invisible muscle. Metta for what departs. Repeat simple phrases addressed to things that change. May you be well, even if you are no longer with me. May you be at peace even if I never see you again. May you be free even as I learn to let go. Say it to an object, to a person, to a moment. The transit gatha, on the bus, on the train, in the taxi, in the 2-block walk. Match your steps or the rattling with short lines. Inhale, here. Exhale, now. Inhale, alive. Exhale, release. The Gata turns travel into a dojo. You too become a gentle traveler, less tactical, more human, breathing with the clock. You do not need to hate time. You can make it an ally. Watch the second hand move. Inhale 1 second, exhale 2 if the body allows. Or inhale 2, exhale 2. Square breathing. The tick-tock then becomes a suburban monastery bell. The body ages. This is one of the tenderest truths. The skin learns another language. The knees negotiate. The hair is a slow rain of ash. In a culture that worships the new, old age is rebellion. Buddhist wisdom does not ask you to disguise it, it asks you to honor it. In monasteries of many traditions, the contemplation of death, maranasati, is not morbid, it is liberating. To remember that the body will end grants every gesture a gold that no showcase can contain. A glass of water shared becomes sacrament. Laughing with wrinkles is not defeat, it is the grammar of time. And pain is not chosen, bitterness is. Between one and the other is decided how to walk. Bitterness hardens, pain opens. One isolates, the other unites. When the body announces that it no longer runs as before, one possibility is to compare it with its younger version and feel betrayed. Another is to see the body as a friend who announces the truth. I am changing, care for me differently. That announcement is not betrayal, it is loyalty. To accept it is to make peace with your oldest ally. The city, in its way, tells us the same with its buildings. An old theater does not compete with a new stadium. It speaks another music. It shows a different memory. We are living cities. Plazas whose games change, streets that close, businesses reborn with other names, buildings that keep the echo of songs that are no longer heard. Healthy pride does not cling to the facade. It protects the invisible neighborhood, the community, the solidarity that wakes when the power goes out or the rain overflows. To accept change is not passivity. It is a rare kind of courage. The courage to show up to life without a rigid mask. The courage of 6 words. I don't know, but I am here. In a farewell, those words are an embrace. In a project, they are an open door to creativity. In a crisis, they are the floating plank of wood. Sometimes change strikes like a fist. Other times it brushes like a feather. There are earthquake days and there are breeze days. Both require one practice: to be. To be when it trembles and when it calms. To be without the obsession to fix, without the temptation to flee. To be is not stillness. It is attention breathing. In Tibetan temples, monks and nuns spend days building sand mandalas, geometries that seem like frozen music. Each grain is placed with precision and patience. The image appears like a dream. Then comes the most beautiful and difficult moment. It is undone. With a feather or a hand, they erase the drawing. The sand returns to its destination, perhaps to a river. It is not scorn for art, it is its consummation. Beauty is real, even if it does not last. Perhaps that is why it is real. Every human project is a mandala. The job you are finishing, the relationship that was a home and now asks another destiny. The house that sheltered your winter, the habit that no longer fits. You could try to freeze them with nostalgia or fear, or you could honor them as mandalas, thank their form, undo them with love, share their sand as a blessing. There is no dishonor in concluding. Life is also the art of endings. There is another ancient practice that urban eyes can learn, the contemplation of cemeteries, which modernity has made rare. It is not about seeking sadness, it is about remembering. The slabs speak dates and names with sobriety. Walking among them teaches the alphabet of farewells. No one carves in stone the things that do not matter. There you read the essential: daughter, friend, mother, companion, neighbor. The city lives more humanly when it does not banish its memory. In us, cultivating memory that is not ballast but root makes the present wider. Work changes too. The economy changes, the way we learn changes, the place we work from changes. Buddhism invites us to use change as a laboratory of virtue. Patience, that word that sounds like waiting, is actually strength, not quiet resignation. Persistence without anxiety. Generosity, that word that sounds like giving money, is actually a style. Giving time, giving attention, giving credit, giving forgiveness. Ethics, that big word, is actually the small. Not wounding with rumor, not wounding with poisoned emails, not wounding with easy irony. Work that changes can become a factory of complaints or a workshop of character. It depends on which muscles you train. Love, like everything, changes. Sometimes it transforms into a different love. Other times it ends. Accepting that end is also wisdom. Not because nothing matters, but because forcing what is exhausted is cruelty. Compassion includes the way we say goodbye. There are ways to close a story that honor what was lived. Ways that say, this existed and it was good, although now it asks for silence. In that tenderness, there is an ethics of care that the city needs. The fear of change has many masks: perfectionism, cynicism, hyper-control, sticky melancholy. Buddhist wisdom proposes a gaze that pierces them. There is no solid entity behind the mask. There are habits, and habits can be trained. The mind is not a rock. It is a garden. It is watered with attention, pruned with humor, fertilized with patience, and blooms with small daily rituals. Here are some that fit even in urgent days. The invisible bell. Every time a notification sounds, turn that sound into a temple bell. Take one conscious breath, just one. The habit transfigures noise into teacher. The cup as a monastery. Before the first sip of the morning, watch the steam. It is a mountain dissolving. Give thanks. Sip by sip, imagine each drink trains patience. If it cools, do not call it a disaster. Call it a lesson in rhythm. The crosswalk. When the light is red, feel the tremor of wanting to run. Let it be. Do not fight it. Simply observe it. When it turns green, take the first step with the intention to care for whoever walks with you, even if you walk alone. That intention changes the texture of the space. Gratitude for the incomplete. At the end of the day, write down one thing that remained half done and give thanks that it remains. The world does not need everything finished today to have value. The unfinished is the classroom of tomorrow, the word that opens. Choose a weekly anchor word. Release, thank, listen, care. Write it on a paper. Carry it with you. Let it find you when the mind closes. Do not repeat like a robot. Let the word find you like rain. And if the change is a grief, there is an ancestral gesture: light a candle. Not to banish darkness with rage, but to live with it in dignity. The flame does not last, but its light, while it lasts, reminds you of the shape of your face, also of the shape of your silence. In urban life, speed confuses movement with progress. Buddhist wisdom does not demonize speed, it humanizes it. Sometimes you must go fast, sometimes you must slow down. Practice does not impose a single tempo, it discovers your own. There are mornings of fire and afternoons of water. There are eagle weeks and turtle weeks. In all of them, the common thread is the same: do not resist the ever-changing weave, learn to weave with it. Compassion toward yourself is essential, not a complacent compassion, but a sincere one. The inner voice that treats you as you would treat a tired friend. That voice says, you are learning. It says, it was not perfect, it was honest. It says, tomorrow we try again. Perfectionism demands monuments. Compassion celebrates bridges. The city also teaches with its night. When buildings dim their brilliance, there remains the hum of fridges, a distant siren, a solitary taxi. That landscape is the dojo of the invisible. The world we do not see sustains the one we applaud. Water running behind walls, hands that clean, trucks that will load the shelves so at dawn we can believe everything was there. To accept change includes honoring what sustains without showing itself. A simple scene condenses the teaching. Imagine a leaf. It fell in an ordinary autumn. Someone picked it up and placed it between the pages of a book. The leaf kept its shape for years. One day, it became dust, dust in a margin. In that gesture, time said its poetry. No hand can order autumn not to be autumn. And yet, during those years, that leaf was a bridge between seasons. What changes is not failure, it is passage. Now, a higher vision. Impermanence does not only take, it also gives. Because nothing is fixed, a mistake turns into learning, a wounded relationship heals, a rough neighborhood flowers into community, a timid person finds a voice, a hostile city invents tenderness. Impermanence is not the thief of joy, it is the condition of its existence. If everything were stone, there would be no art, no forgiveness, no insight, no humor. Buddhism names it with serene joy. What is born dies. What dies leaves space. In that space, the new arises. And what then of the immutable? Tradition answers with care. There is no hard, eternal I to grasp. But there is a depth that is not a thing and that we can glimpse, the awareness that notices change. That awareness is not an object, it is openness, it is sky. Clouds pass, thoughts, memories, plans, sorrows. The sky does not compete, it offers room. When you rest in that openness, even for an instant, change is not an enemy, it is choreography. Practice does not capture that sky. It only clears a bit of smoke to see. In the heart of the city, that instant can arrive in unexpected forms. Looking out a bus window and seeing someone embrace an old dog, hearing a neighbor sing a childhood song while hanging clothes, watching a child release a balloon and smile as it becomes a dot. These moments are small urban illuminations. They do not ask for monasteries, they ask for presence. When resistance appears, and it will, do not banish it. Treat it like a frightened child. Say inwardly, "Thank you for wanting to protect me." Ask it. Asking here is not interrogation, but embrace what it fears losing. It usually answers control, identity, belonging. Thank it again. Then show it the river. Say, "I will take you with me, but you will not drive today." That gentle dance with resistance is also practice. There will be days when it does not work. The tide will pull you. You will bite air again, grow impatient in lines, get angry at the driver, argue over trifles, cry over spilled water. It's okay. Practice does not sign contracts of perfection. It only offers re-entry. Every moment can be a portal. Like in games that let you reappear, life lets you reappear with more humility. In Buddhism, one speaks of refuge. To take refuge is not to flee, it is to anchor. Refuge in the Buddha, the possibility of awakening. Refuge in the Dharma, the living teaching that guides amid the noise. Refuge in the Sangha, the community of practice. In the city, refuge can take humble shapes. The friend with whom you meditate by phone, the group that walks in silence on Saturdays, the teacher you hear in short audios, the wooden bowl that sounds before sleep. You are not alone in change. No one has been. One more gentle detail, humor. Practice without humor becomes stone. Humor disarms perfectionism. It opens emergency stairways when seriousness suffocates. To laugh at your own clumsiness is wise. Humor does not minimize pain, it deoxidizes it. At the center of all this, a small truth that like a seed contains a forest. If you resist the passing of time, you resist yourself. And that battle is more exhausting than a day under rain. Acceptance is not giving up, it is orienting. Sailors do not fight the wind, they trim sails. Practice is the sail, time is the wind, you are a boat and also the ocean. The harbor is not fixed, it appears in the navigating. So, when you see a new line in the mirror, remember, it is the calligraphy of time, the signature of the life you lived. When a project ends, fold it like someone who folds a flag that was honored. When a friendship cools, allow it to go and perhaps return in another season. When you move, speak with the walls that saw you cry and laugh. Thank them. When a love ends, honor its mandala. The urban world needs this delicacy as much as it needs Wi-Fi, perhaps more. Delicacy is not weakness. It is strength that learn not to shout. The cities that survive are not the toughest, but the most flexible. People, too. Today has been brief training. You heard what you will hear many times, because it is easy to forget. Everything changes. You saw that there is a common enemy, resistance, and a silent ally, attention. You heard a mother looking for an impossible seed, a master who knows the glass is already broken, monks who erase a perfect mandala, a Zen poet who told you that you are time. You practiced 3 breaths, a gatha, a farewell letter to a garment, the vow of an hour. You glimpsed that the immutable is not an object but openness itself, and somewhere in your day, something loosened. It ends like this. Take a slow inhalation and a long exhalation. Allow the world to be the world for an instant without trying to dominate it. Feel your feet. Thank the road. Whisper, if you want, barely audible, I am time, and I release, and walk. Because by accepting life's changes, you do not lose. You recover. You recover the true pulse, the one that beats beneath deadlines, appointments, and clocks. You recover the freedom to be a river, not a rock. The passing of time is not an enemy to destroy. It is a teacher who, if listened to, makes you human, humble, and vast. Here lies the least secret. What you love changes. What changes teaches you to love. And in that learning, every day in the city can be a monastery. Share this teaching with the one who walks beside you. Subscribe so we can keep learning to live lightly among traffic lights and invisible bells, with a heart that knows not to resist. And when you close this episode, look at the clock as you would a friend. Another minute said goodbye today. Let it go. It came already broken. That's why it shone. That's why it touched you. That's why it matters.